Hello everyone! On Tuesday we had the lesson about New Year's resolutions, and today I want us to focus on grammar, more on the structure of those sentences, alright? So I hope you will enjoy it. So let's dive in. The first sentence was, I'm just curious, how many of you made New Year's resolutions? Yeah, do you remember? I'm just curious, how many of you made New Year's resolutions? So how many of you? How many? Many, because Ellen was talking about people. How many of you people, of you guys? And people, of course, is a countable noun, so that's why we have to use this word many instead of much, for example. That'll be a mistake. And Ellen said, I'm just curious how many of you made New Year's resolutions. And it's the past meaning, okay? Made New Year's resolutions. So, of course, it would be possible to ask the question like, I'm just curious how many of you make New Year's resolutions. But the meaning here is like asking about routine, okay? If you make New Year's resolutions every year or not, okay? That'll be this kind of context. But here, Ellen asked, I'm just curious how many of you made, because that was at the beginning of the year. Yeah, and she was just asking. And the second one, how many of you kept them? How many of you kept them? So again, she made this sentence in past, yeah, kept, because keep, of course, this is the present form of this verb. So keep New Year's resolutions. I hope that you know the meaning of this. Keep New Year's resolutions. All right, so first we make New Year's resolutions, and then throughout the year we try to stick to them. We try to keep them. Yeah, so her question was, how many of you kept them? I'm just curious how many of you kept them. Kept them, okay? Them, which is New Year's resolutions, okay? So, how many of you kept them? And her answer was like, I did not make any this year. I did not make any this year. And of course, it's possible to say I didn't make any this year. Or I didn't make any New Year's resolutions this year. Yeah, but she was like she wanted to sound really short. So I did not make any this year, because earlier she was talking about New Year's resolutions, and that's why she just didn't want to repeat it one more time. Okay, so, and one more thing about that sentence, I did not make any this year. I did not. And this not here is emphasized, okay? So I did not make any this year means that she really didn't make them, okay? If that makes sense. All right, and the next one, last year my resolution was to stop procrastinating. Do you remember? Last year my resolution was to stop procrastinating. And I want you to remember that after stop doing something. Our verb pattern is like stop doing something, okay? Stop, and the next verb needs to be with ing ending, okay? So here, like, we need to treat this as an activity, okay? Stop doing what? Stop what kind of activity? Stop procrastinating. So that's why we have procrastinating with ing ending. And I still haven't gotten around to it, all right? So that was in present perfect. Present perfect, so something that, of course, present perfect has a lot of usages, and one of them is like something started in the past and continues till now. So the meaning here is like last year, since last year, when her resolution was to stop procrastinating, okay, she made that resolution last year, and since that moment, since that point in the past, she still hasn't gotten around to it. Czyli powiem na chwilkę po polsku, od tamtego czasu, od tamtego roku, aż do teraz ona jeszcze się za to nie zabrała. Get around to something, zabrać się za coś. I hope you remember that phrasal verb. Okay, so I still haven't gotten around to it. And it's possible to say, and I still haven't got around to it. Okay, it's no problem with that. The forms of the verb get is like get, got, / gotten. Okay, you choose which one you like more. All right, and the next one. I'm starting a new rule. Okay, so because she still hasn't gotten around to it, she is starting a new rule now. Okay, that's why she uses present continuous here. So I'm starting a new rule. All right, I'm starting a new rule. I'm starting. And be careful when you create present continuous sentences that you are describing what you are doing now or temporarily. So pay attention to not forget adding to be. All right? So it's extremely important because otherwise I starting sounds like wrong. So you're making a mistake saying that kind of sentence. I starting. You need to say I'm starting, okay? I'm, because present continuous is like to be plus verb with ing ending. So I am sitting and speaking to you, all right? So I am explaining some grammar structures here, okay, to you. Or I'm starting a new rule this year, okay? So it's like out of her routine. Her action for this year is like she is starting her new rule. So what's her new rule? You shouldn't be allowed to make any New Year's resolutions until you finish your old ones. Do you remember? You shouldn't be allowed, okay? So that's her rule. You shouldn't be allowed to make any New Year's resolutions until you finish your old ones, yeah? That's her rule. So you shouldn't be allowed to do something. That is the expression. So to be allowed to do something, here I want you to remember that after allowed, yeah, I am allowed, the next verb is with to. So to do. Okay, so we don't say I am allowed make New Year's resolutions, okay? Or I am allowed do something. Here, we need to add this to, okay, before the verb. So I am allowed to speak to you now. You are allowed to make, you aren't or you shouldn't be allowed to make any New Year's resolutions until you finish your old ones. So, shouldn't be allowed to make. To be allowed to make something. And if you want to like omit this word should or shouldn't, make sure that you change the form of the verb be, okay? So, the present form of this expression is like be allowed to do something. But if you want to put it in the sentence, then you have to change this be. So you don't say I be allowed to do something. You say I am allowed to do something. You, what would be to you? You are allowed to do something. She is allowed to do something. Or we are allowed to do something. We are allowed to speak English here. Yeah? And the same like vice versa, you allow somebody to do something, you give this permission, it's the same, yeah? You should remember about adding to before do. So I allow you to go there, okay? I allow you to speak here, or whatever you want. I allow you to do something. You allow me to do something. All right. And I think that's it. So in our newsletter lesson that I sent you on Monday, this Monday, so on Tuesday's video, we covered exercise number 5. And now I want you to put this theory into practice, okay? So let's focus on exercise number 6, which is like completing the sentences with the words from the list, okay? So there are 4 words: procrastinate, get around to, allow, and curious. So what would you pick to complete this kind of sentence? Look at it. I still, and then we have fixing that tap. Fixing that tap. I still, blah, 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 fixing that tap. What would be the best word to complete this sentence? I still, and I think the best would be get around to, okay? But I hope you thought that, oh my God, maybe we should change something as far as grammar is concerned. So yes, you are right. We need to change get around, the present form, into something else. So, I still, jeszcze nie zabrałem się za to. I still haven't got around to fixing that tap. Or I still haven't gotten around to fixing that tap. That would be the correct answer, okay? I hope you picked the right one. So I still haven't gotten around to fixing that tap. And you would ask me, why after to we have ing ending, the verb with ing ending? Because I always tell you that after to we have the infinitive form of the verb. And here is fixing, not fix. Why? You know why? Because here the concept changes. Because I still haven't gotten around to doing something, to this activity. What kind of activity? Fixing that tap, okay? So I still haven't gotten around to doing what? To what kind of activity? To fixing that tap. All right, so that is why we need to add ing here, okay? And the next one, babies are, what is the next gap? Babies are, blah, 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 about everything around them. Babies are about everything around them. Babies are, do we need a verb here? Do we need an adjective or a noun? Babies are what? Babies are adjective. We need an adjective here. So if adjective, przymiotnik, then curious, okay? Babies are curious about everything around them, okay? Babies are curious about everything around them. Curious. They are interested in everything around them. The next sentence, I know I've got to deal with the problem at some point. I know I've got to deal with the problem at some point. Po prostu ja tutaj odkładam tą rzecz na później. W tym momencie. Odkładam ją na później. Odsuwam ją od siebie. I'm just procrastinating, okay? I'm just procrastinating. I know I've got to deal with the problem at some point. I'm just procrastinating, okay? No wiem, że muszę się za to wziąć, ale po prostu odkładam to na później. And the last one, you, something, talk during the exam. You, talk during the exam. What is the best choice? What is the best word? Yes, you are not allowed to talk during the exam. You are not allowed to talk during the exam. Okay, you are not allowed. You are not allowed to do something. You are not allowed to talk during the exam. That is how you should do it. You are not allowed to talk during the exam. You don't have this permission to talk, okay, during the exam. So I think that's it. Thank you so much for today's quick revision, and I hope you enjoy it. Let me know in the comment section if that kind of form of revision would be helpful for you, and I'm really curious what your answers will be. All right, so have a great weekend and see you on Tuesday. Bye-bye.